vamos a iniciar. Entonces, muchas gracias a todos por conectarse a nuestra sesión del día de hoy. Bienvenidos, buenas tardes. Hoy hablaremos sobre las opciones despigmentantes que tiene Revision Skincare para sus pacientes. Con nosotros está Olivia Roumain, que es la cabeza de educación internacional para Revision Skincare, y ella será quien nos dará a detalle toda la presentación del día de hoy. Unas notas breves antes de comenzar la sesión. Abajo en la ventana de Zoom tienen un par de opciones. Por favor, pongan su atención en dos funciones en específico. La primera es preguntas y respuestas, donde les pediré que nos envíen sus preguntas que vayan surgiendo durante la sesión para nosotros poderlas hacer directamente a Olivia, quien responderá en vivo todas sus preguntas. Y la segunda función importante es una que tiene un icono como de un globo que se llama interpretación. Eso les permitirá cambiar el idioma de esta sesión. Es decir, Olivia dará la presentación en inglés, que es el idioma original de la sesión, y ustedes, si necesitan una traducción en español, pueden entrar directamente a esa función, activar el idioma español y escucharán a Alejandra Inda, que es nuestra traductora en vivo durante el evento del día de hoy. Al final de la sesión, después de la explicación de Olivia, les daré un poco de detalles sobre las promociones que tiene GBI para ustedes en torno a los productos que veremos el día de hoy y la marca Revision Skincare. Pues bueno, sin mayor introducción, los dejo con Olivia Roumain para la presentación del día de hoy. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Axel. Thank you everyone for joining us. We'll get started so we can spend our time and learn about our brightening products. So thank you for joining. Today, we've got 3 amazing products to share with you about our brightening facial solutions. Before we get into the actual products, we will also talk about our point of difference in our formulation philosophy. And it's important to know these things because it's our point of difference between the competition. I think you'll find some really interesting facts about them. Then we'll go into the products and then how to position them in your practice, products that work well with each other, as well as how to partner the products with procedures. So that's going to be the topics of the day. And of course, if you do have questions, as Axel said, please feel free to put them in the chat and we'll be able to answer them in lifetime. So let's look at the basics here with aging. One of the #1 external factors that contributes to aging is the sun. And this is not an unknown fact. It's something that we deal with every single day. I'm sure many of you are recommending sunscreen to your patients, but even so, even if we're wearing sunscreen, it's only a filter, we still have damage that might be happening to us accumulatively. So we need to look at products that are helping us to brighten our skin, even our skin tone, and help us combat some of the external factors that is happening from the sun's damage. So what is leading to these other signs of aging besides the sun? And what happens to the skin when we have these signs of aging to us? The sun, as we know, can provide a lack of structural damage to the skin. So we're going to see a loss of collagen, integral adhesion, elasticity. We'll see an unevenness in skin tone. Many times this could also be intrinsic, and the skin is not going to operate optimally. So because this is about a brightening aspect in terms of the presentation, we're going to look specifically at the areas of the skin where our products are going to help to mitigate and stop some of the pigmentation and also even tone, not only on the surface, but also long-term. And so that's really going to be the focus in terms of, when we're looking at evening skin tone in that aging process, how do we make the skin look lighter, brighter, and even more youthful? Okay, our formulation philosophy. So when we look at our products as Revision Skincare, we were first founded on making the skin more healthy and beautiful. And what that means is it's just as important what we put in our products about what we do not put in our products. So some examples of this is that we do not formulate products with alcohol or denatured alcohol. And a big reason for that is that utilizing alcohol or denatured alcohol will dry the skin out on a regular terms. It's not healthy to have that on the skin daily. When you use it in the treatment room for a procedure to prep, that is considered, a moment in time and it's controlled. but we're not utilizing it daily because it can stress the skin out. So that's just something in our formulation philosophy. You will not find in our retail products any kind of alcohol that's drying the skin out. Another thing that we look at when we're formulating is not to put retinol in our daytime products. And this is very important to us because while retinol is such a great ingredient, it can have a lot of side effects when it's not used properly and when it's exposed to the sun. It breaks down, it can cause phototoxicity, and it also can harm the skin when it's not properly protected. So for us, when we position our retinol, it is always in the evening time. And then lastly, I'll just touch on this briefly, growth factors. Even though this is not directly correlated to evening skin tone, there are products on the market that are brightening products that may have growth factors. So just for your knowledge, we never create products with growth factors simply because there are moments where they're not able to address all patients, and they're usually used intermittently. We utilize bioavailable peptides instead, as they have a higher safety profile. So if you'd like to learn more about this, we have other sessions that Axel will tell you about that we can go deeper into that. I just wanted to share this formulation philosophy as it pertains to our point of difference in our products. One other unique thing that we do at Revision is that all of our formulas are made to work in synergy. And what this means is that the ingredients itself not only work together, they work better together, but they also work in tandem. So for example, I'm going to show you later the C+ correcting complex with the retinol, what this looks like when you use them, and how you can mix them or cocktail them all at one step. And this will not mitigate or undo the efficacy of either product. This is so helpful for your patients for compliance, ease, and also remembering the steps in a regimen. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you once we get through the products. So keep this in mind. It's a very, very unique feature for us. All right, let's get into it. So this is one of my favorite products. It is the Brightening Facial Wash. I use this every single morning. And this is one of our most impressive, and I like to say our most aggressive, but in a healthy way, washes. This contains 2 alpha hydroxy acids, so salicylic acid and glycolic acid. But the feature of this is that it's helping to brighten as it's exfoliating the skin. And it's really meant for all skin types, except for those with super sensitive skin tones. The reason for that is that it does have a little bit lower pH to help to remove some of the dead skin cells and brighten overall. So when we look at the type of skin, the type of client or type of patient that would be best for this, it's anyone who's struggling with melasma, even toning the skin, someone that might have previous scar pigmentation from post-acne or post-breakout. This would be the perfect wash cleanser for them to start with. And so we're going to go over some of these ingredients again, a little bit more into understanding how it's different. The 2 alpha hydroxys not only will exfoliate to even the skin tone and also clarify the pores, but then we have a unique brightening blend. And this is where the magic happens. Although we're washing the skin within about a minute, so you're going to cleanse and really exfoliate and wash the skin, as it's on the skin, you're having the blend of magnesium ascorbyl phosphate, berberry, licorice, and lily extract. So these combination of ingredients, while it's on, is clarifying and brightening the skin. In fact, if you were to put this on your skin itself and start to massage, you're going to see almost a lightening effect, not bleach, but like illuminating, and it will help to look even more radiant and even tone as you rinse the water off. This also has white tea extract, and that helps to calm the skin. So while it is exfoliating, it still is gentle enough to feel calming on the skin. So this is what we would recommend for anyone that's wanting to take the first step into the brightening category, is to start with the Brightening Facial Wash. It truly is amazing. And you can use this morning and night. Now, the only area you would not want to use it would be the eyes. So if someone is needing to remove eye makeup, I would not recommend this for the eye area, but this will remove facial makeup. That's just one little anecdote to share with you. This could be very helpful for clients that may have makeup on the skin. They can remove just eye makeup is separate. Okay. When we look at our next category, this is the treatment category. And this is where the bulk of our time is going to be spent because there are so many competitive products in the market when we talk about vitamin C's and we talk about retinols. These are the gold standard in dermatology and the gold standard for anti-aging. I used to like to say vitamin C, during the day and vitamin A during the night. You're going to see and learn a little bit about how we position our vitamin C different than most other brands. So we're going to really start with our vitamin C correcting complex, and then we'll end with our Retinal Complete. So in order to really understand how our vitamin C is different, we first need to understand the technology behind the vitamin C itself. How many of you currently use an L-ascorbic acid in the practice? I want you just to think about that. How many brands in their practice have L-ascorbic acid? I'm sure many of you guys have a product with L-ascorbic acid. And that's not a bad ingredient, but it's different than tetradecyl ascorbate as an ingredient, THD ascorbate. And the biggest difference between them, you can kind of see on the left hand or the right hand side, is that the molecule of L-ascorbic acid here in gray is hydrophilic. It's water-based, so it loves water, and it's also acidic. By nature, it's acidic. In order for it to penetrate through the stratum corneum, which is lipid-loving, it struggles. It does penetrate, but it doesn't go as far. It struggles to penetrate because of the difference between oil and water. Whereas THD ascorbate is lipid-loving. If you can see here in the circle, this right here is the molecule of L-ascorbic acid, but it's surrounded by these lipids. There's 4 chains of lipids. So that lipid surrounding it allows the permeability, the penetration of the acid to go into the skin without being an acid to begin with. Once it penetrates, these lipid layers remove, they cleave off, and they're able to deposit the L-ascorbic acid, pure L-ascorbic acid, into the cell. So what you'll find here is you'll have better penetration, more stability, more efficacy, and you'll also see that patients won't have that stinging or burning sensation that sometimes is associated with L-ascorbic acid. So as a quick recap, the biggest differences between THD ascorbate and L-ascorbic acid, our pH is neutral. It's more stable, it's more efficacious, it penetrates better. It doesn't have any color or odor. So we're going to show you a few things that might help you further understand where the clinical evidence is behind it. So in 2009, the Journal of Cellular Biology, there was a published clinical study done on THD ascorbate versus L-ascorbic acid. And the findings were that it was extremely stable when THD ascorbate was left at 140 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 month. So I want you to imagine how hot that is. For 1 month, it was left with 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and it still remains stable. So that's just something to remember, that the molecule itself is very different. They also saw that it was ready to permeate the cells and was able to convert to pure ascorbic acid. So that was provided. And it did all of the measures of what vitamin C or L-ascorbic acid can do even better. So if you're ever interested in learning more about that, I highly suggest, you can look at the study. There's several other studies that have been published that show the difference between the 2 ingredients. Now, you might be wondering, why does that matter? Well, when your skin is actually receiving L-ascorbic acid, we know the benefits of it. More collagen increase, more elastin increase, and it can also help with inhibiting tyrosinase, which is what's inhibiting the melanin in the skin, hence brighter looking skin. So this is another area where we're going to show you the way that it penetrates in the skin and how much of it actually is getting into the cell. So in case you want to see it, when you take the highest amount of L-ascorbic acid on the market, which is 20%, and you take the highest amount of THD ascorbate on the market currently, which is 30%, in an in vitro model on skin tissue cells, what we did was look at at different time points, so at 6 hours and 24 hours, how much of the THC ascorbate and L-ascorbic acid was actually found intracellularly. And what we found was that after 6 hours, 11% of the THC ascorbate was in the intracell, and after 24 hours, 15%. So half of the initial 30% was actually found in the cell. Whereas in the 20% L-ascorbic acid, only 0.1% was permeated after 6 hours. And again, no change after 24. So if this can help highlight for you not to say L-ascorbic acid is a bad ingredient. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is if you have patients that are struggling and want to see even more results, you will see a bigger result with THC ascorbate simply because of the way it's delivered and the way it's more stable to the skin. I see there's maybe possibly some questions in the chat. So Teresa, I just want to check with you. Are there some questions possibly in the chat?
No, it was an announcement that I made just to remind everyone and go.
No, Olivia, everything's fine.
Okay, perfect. So you might be wondering, why do more companies not use THC ascorbate? The simple answer is this: it's very expensive. What is in this bottle of C plus correcting complex is considered liquid gold. It's about 25 times more expensive than L-ascorbic acid. So if I had a handful of L-ascorbic acid in its raw form, it might be roughly $30 in US dollars. If I had a handful of THC ascorbate in its raw form, it's about $1,000. So it's extremely expensive. And Revision Skincare owns our own manufacturing facility. So we are able to develop and research and formulate everything from start to finish, which is part of the reason why we're able to create such amazing products and formulate on a dime with these types of ingredients and deliver them to you in your practice to provide to your patients. I wanted just to provide this for you because this is truly, truly incredible. This would be one of my products. If I was stranded on a desert island, I would be taking this with me because it's amazing. So let's discover more about the C plus correcting complex. This is our lead vitamin C with THC ascorbate, that center vitamin C. There's 30% concentration in it, and it has Melapath technology. So Melapath technology is a patented technology unique just to Revision Skincare. And Melapath technology includes the THC ascorbate plus additional other super antioxidants that help to do 4 main things. Helps to stop melanin production, helps to upregulate glutathione. So simply said, we help your skin help itself. So it upregulates your skin's own glutathione. It not only works as a super antioxidant, so warding off environmental stressors from the environment, even reactive oxidant species from blue light, so free radicals from blue light. And lastly, there is a microbiome technology, a prebiotic. So when we talk about the skin being healthy and beautiful and balanced, it's even in here itself. It also has vitamin E, again, another great antioxidant when combined with vitamin C. So this is loaded with more than great ingredients that you can possibly imagine to not only help the skin be brighter, but more healthy in several different areas. We're going to mostly focus on the pigmentation side because of the fact, again, that we're focusing on the brightening aspect. So with Melapath, again, the super synergistic blend of those powerful antioxidants, that is helping mostly with the melanin production. I want to show you just some before and after so you can see that. So we did a few different studies. The first was an in vitro study. And here, what you're seeing on the left-hand side are untreated keratinocytes and melanocytes. And why that's important to know is you have keratinocytes and melanocytes in topset layers of the skin. Melanocytes, of course, carry the melanin. So you see the little kind of black pockets there, those are the melanocytes. Once it's treated with the C plus correcting complex, what we found after 14 days, we saw a 24% reduction with the melanin. So seeing how it was treated after 14 days, you can see almost a quarter of reduction there just with the C+ correcting complex. This provided us information that it was helping the skin. So we then took it to an in vivo clinical study. And here in the in vivo clinical study, this is after 12 weeks. We did a 12-week clinical study where 31 patients were using this twice daily. In this particular image you're seeing, it is with the Intera 3D camera, and you can see the picture of the image has almost like a red dye. This red dye is showing, it's not a dye, it's actually a filter, but the color is showing you where the pigmentation is. So everywhere you see this red and orange is areas where pigmentation is present. And after just 8 weeks, so from before to the 8 weeks, you can see a significant reduction. Clinically, this was an 88% reduction in as early as 8 weeks. So again, that's Melapath and the THG ascorbate all working to help provide these amazing results. And then this is just a before and after. While this is not showing the pigmentation piece, I also wanted to show you how it's helping with even overall redness and skin tone. Again, talking about the health of the skin, this is also helping to clarify globally. So even for your patients that might have sensitive skin with redness or with pigmentation, they can still use something like C+ and have great outcomes as well. And here's another image, just to show you again from an anti-aging perspective, not to just pigeonhole, brightening. We know the value of vitamin C when it comes to lines, wrinkles, collagen, texture, luminosity. And here's an incredible image you can see before and after in 12 weeks, again, twice daily use. Now, the reason why we did twice daily use is because your skin actually can store vitamin C. In most cases, too much is not a good thing. When it comes to sweets or food, or maybe we could overdo it with perhaps acids, we don't want to overdo it. When it comes to vitamin C, it's actually a good thing. By putting vitamin C in the morning, we're utilizing it not only as a protectant, as an antioxidant, but again, as you're using it at night, it's also helping to continue that release, and it's helping in other areas such as pigmentation. So when you're utilizing it twice a day, it's utilizing and storing whatever it's eating. So you're getting a benefit throughout the entire 24 hours and allowing the skin to continue to help itself. Okay, so we're going to talk now about our Retinal Complete. And I want you to think about the word complete, because it's not just a retinol. There's retinols for prescription, of course, tretinoins. You have all sorts of different levels of retinol palmitates or retinols. We choose to use retinol simply because in the steady state conversion, retinol is able to convert back. So whatever is not used is able to be stored in the skin and used at a later time. It also allows that it's more stable and more tolerable, even for those that have usually a tougher time with the retinoid family. So that's just something to point out as a difference. More brands use different forms of retinoids. We choose to use retinol. So it's not just retinol in this product, it's retinol plus anti-aging ingredients, hence the word Retinal Complete. And a big point of difference for us is the way that we combined retinol with bakuchiol. So if you think about it, have many of you guys been hearing or seen, possibly as of late, the word bakuchiol? It's almost become this like trend ingredient. And oddly enough, we've been formulating with bakuchiol and retinol together since about 2005, 2007. So this was not new to us. We have been on the forefront pioneering for several years. I think it was just catching on all of a sudden. And what's said about bakuchiol is that it's like a retinol. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about why that is. But I first just want to share with you that we've had it in this technology for a long time, and it's very, very effective when partnered together. So our Retinal Complete, it comes in two formulas. We have a 0.5 and then a 1%. So there's a way to graduate a patient up the scale if they need to move up from 0.5 to a 1%. This is a complete product as a treatment. So they do need to have a moisturizer to layer on top. And then of course, during the day, utilizing a sunscreen is definitely needed. So let's talk about the retinol itself. The retinol is microencapsulated and it's also time released. So the microencapsulation technology is actually one that is patented, that's used in the tretinoins, like it's used in prescription grade. So it's a medical based encapsulation, and the time release allows that slow dosage. So these are two ways that we help to ensure that the patient's going to have a more comfortable experience with retinol. Another way that we ensure it is by the way that it is paired with bakuchiol. So bakuchiol, I started talking about it. Let's go into it further. Bakuchiol comes from an Indian botchi plant. So it's plant-based. And not only does it boost all the good things that retinol does, cell turnover, helps to inhibit tyrosinase, so really looking to mitigate the looks of pigmentation in the melanin. It also is a huge antioxidant. It helps with texture, tone. So all these wonderful things that retinol does, bakuchiol can do as well. However, it boosts all retinol's properties while minimizing irritation. So bakuchiol is extremely important in this formula because when it's partnered together, it's like the patient is getting double dosage of retinol, not truly by percentage, but all the good things retinol does, but you're also suppressing, minimizing the dryness and irritation. So that's a very unique difference to our Retinal Complete. To ensure we have even more reasons for a patient to have a good experience, we have a unique ingredient called Ophiopagon japonicus root extract. It's a long word, so no need to memorize it, but I wanted to share it with you because this particular ingredient is actually triggering the skin's own natural moisturizing factor. So this is actually upregulating the own moisture levels and reducing the transepidermal water loss, which is going to help a patient as they're getting that cell turnover, that dryness and irritation. Imagine the skin helping itself with that hydration and minimizing the loss of dryness in the skin. So you can see how this combination is so powerful. One's the workhorse helping anti-aging cell turnover, stopping some of the pigmentation for brightening effects, looking even tone on the skin surface, looking at the skin's texture, nice and smooth and luminous, protecting the skin with an antioxidant, vitamin A, as well as bakuchiol. And then you have this great ingredient helping to put more hydration in the skin. And yet there's more. We have more hydrating properties in this product. So biosaccharide gum, the sesame seed extract actually helps to plump the skin. So sometimes there's these ideas that using a retinol will thin your skin. Not with this product. The product will actually help the skin look more plump and luminous and youthful. And then of course we have loads of additional antioxidants, hence the word complete. We try to complete it all the way around. So when it comes to brightening, if you were to give a patient options or look at the options in your practice to provide a patient, certainly you as a practitioner know what's best for a patient. Where I would consider Retinal Complete would be for patients that are not compliant. If they're only using retinols once a week and they're not consistent, then they're probably not getting all the benefits of the anti-aging and maybe the melanin pigmentation, right? This is where Retinal Complete can really step in and help. They'll have a better experience, be compliant, see the results because they're able to tolerate it. Another way you can use this in the practice would be for someone who needs more than just retinol. They're looking for a bigger holistic solution beyond what retinol can do from an anti-aging perspective. Again, the word Retinal Complete. So this is a really great product for you to consider in the practice because it really is loaded with so many more great ingredients in it. I wanted to call out a color in it. So this is actually rare when you look at this retinol. Most retinols have almost like a white or light, almost light beige color. I just pumped some out, and I want you to see here, if you can see my hand, it's almost like a bright yellow tone. And the reason for this bright yellow tone is because of the ingredients blended between the bakuchiol and the Ophiopogon japonicus root extract. Those two in tandem make up this really bright yellow color. This does not mean that it's bad, and it does not mean that it's oxidized. In fact, the retinol itself, again, it's encapsulated, it's time released, and the product itself is in a airtight sealed container. So it's been several times protected from oxidizing. The color, again, comes from the ingredients mixed together. They have a higher pigment. So when you mix them in the formula, the color that comes out is this brighter yellow tone. Just wanted to show you that. And we did a clinical study with one of our vitamin C products. This is actually a before and after image. So you can see on the left-hand side, there's several areas of mottled pigmentation in the cheek, more freckling, discoloration, even some redness from the vascularity in the sun, from the sun. Even the texture is a little bit more rough and thick. After 12 weeks, again, this was used just at night. What you can see here is more even tone. You can see a lot more of the pigment is suppressed and even more clear, more radiant, less red. Even up here in the cheek area, it looks like it's more diminished. So it's, again, this patient here, if she were to continue utilizing, would see even further results by utilizing this Retinal Complete. So best ingredients here to be utilizing. So in the morning time, a patient would start off with using the Brightening Facial Wash, move to 1 to 2 pumps of the C+ correcting complex. Again, the C+ correcting complex comes out in a kind of lotion emulsion format. And the reason for this is because it is, again, lipophilic. And I just wanted to show it to you since I showed you the other one. We're going to show you what they are like when you mix them as well. Let me just give it a second because I pulled out a brand new one, so I'm just pumping it out. So 1 second. I might have to go get one. It's actually just coming out. So it's a lotion kind of format. I don't know if you can kind of see it here. It's like a, you see that? It almost comes out like a lotion. It's not a gel. And the reason for that is that the lipophilic nature of it needs to be created with a lotion so that it's able to deliver in the skin. It is oil-free and it is still non-comedogenic. So I'm an oily patient. I have oil all over the skin. Even oily patients can use it. So I wanted to share with you that when you apply it on the skin and you mix it with other products, they actually mix really well together. They go right into the skin and they don't leave a tacky residue or peel. They actually mix really, really well together. So this in the morning time is the wash, C+, and then of course a moisturizer with an SPF, either together or layered. We have several options out there. However, whatever the best moisturizer for the skin type or best level of sun protection is what you would recommend in the morning.
Olivia, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I have a request for the people hearing the translation in Spanish. If you can go just a little bit slower, please.
Sure. Sure.
Thank you.
Should I just wait for 1 second for them?
No, they have already catch up. No, just for the regular pace for your speech, please.
You got it. Thank you. So we have the morning regimen here, and then we have the night regimen. So the PM, we could start again with the Brightening Facial Wash. If the patient has another wash of choice, they can use another one. But again, for best benefits, the Brightening Facial Wash to, again, help with the pigmentation. You would use the C+ correcting complex again. And now this is where you integrate the Retinal Complete. So C+ and retinol. It does not matter in this case for our products, whether which one goes first, because they work in synergy. You can pump them together and mix them. You could put retinol first or C+. It does not matter in our line because of the way they're formulated. So that's also what's very easy for your patients to be able to utilize and use this product very quickly. And then a great suggestion for a moisturizer would be our DEJ face cream. We'll be talking about DEJ products at a later webinar if you want to learn more about them. This would be a great pairing product for the brightening and anti-aging purposes. So I just wanted to show you something within the line that would be great for night. What you don't see in AM and PM are eye products. We would certainly recommend eye products. So I was just focusing on the face, given the nature of where most pigmentation issues happen. So I just wanted to address that as well, that we do believe in eye products. I just didn't put them here simply from our focus for today. Okay, so other great products to recommend or to help with this discoloration, pigmentation, one would be exfoliation, of course. So while the brightening facial wash gives a micro dosage of exfoliation with the acids, the finishing touch is a physical exfoliation, which will allow a patient to be able to get a little bit more deeper exfoliation, maybe once to twice a week. This also is helpful for a drier skin type that may need to remove maybe more drier skin cells. Of course, eye treatment products, as we were saying before, we would recommend something for the eyes. So our DEJ eye cream is an all-in-one eye product, can even go on the eyelid. We'll talk about this more in a different webinar. And something to keep in mind, there is discoloration that can occur on the neck and décolleté. So the products that we spoke about today, these are really centered for the face. We actually have dedicated products to help with signs of aging for the neck and décolleté that even contain brightening agents within the neck products. So that's Nectafirm or Nectafirm Advance. So if you do have patients that struggle with pigmentation issues around that area, we would recommend the Nectafirm products as they are designed specifically for those areas of the skin. And they do even more for signs of aging related to the neck. Okay, so top procedures. So if you have any patients coming to your clinic that are coming in for lasers, microneedling or dermapen, chemical peels, these would be the perfect 3 products to bundle for those procedures. And the reason for that is, again, the upkeep of keeping the brightness and clarity, but also because of the way that these procedures are helping to already penetrate a little deeper into the skin and target the melanocytes. So with lasers, there is a Dr. Mary Lupo. She's based out of Louisiana. She calls C+ correcting complex an IPL in a bottle. So this is one of her favorite products, and truly, I can't take that line, but this is something she calls IPL in a bottle because of the way that it works. And this is what her go-to pairing product with lasers. When you put the 3 in synergy, it's another level of results. So that would be a great pairing to provide patients as a 1, 2, 3 step. Same with your microneedling and chemical peels. With all of these, it's going to be important to only have the patients utilize these products when the skin is not open or broken. So if there's any invasive open wound parts of the skin, we would want to make sure that it's healed, re-epithelialized before applying any of the products, just to make sure that there isn't any irritation. Once it's healed, then they can start to utilize the products and go from there.